that you have to be abnormal to be in business.
Exactly. It's a very confusing statement. You need to take time to digest.
What is your comment about that?
It's a very complex statement, of course. It needs a lot of wisdom to analyze it and get and internalize it. But actually, when you internalize it, it's a very strong statement. It means you have to take an extra mile, extra energy in order to perform to your expected level, in order to excel.
That is exactly what I was saying.
Yes.
That normal people do what every average person is doing.
Exactly.
Abnormal people go ahead
An extra mile.
to do what average people don't do.
Do not do.
And that's why you hear our statement in our local communities. Other people say, "Ono yagenda mu nyanja."
I know.
Because he does what you can't expect.
What you can't do.
He
Exactly.
does. He achieves what you can't achieve.
I understand.
He sets goals which you fear. Now, from that discussion, from that understanding of being an entrepreneur, what did he pushed you to be an entrepreneur?
Wow, that's
Because some people want to know more about you and who you are and where you've come from, what you've really done, and because this is a program that we love to inspire people, especially those that want to go into the business space, want to innovate. They are innovations. They are creating businesses. They are creating income channels and all that. You know what it is all about, business. So in this show, people want to learn, and viewers outside there are some who are in business and they are struggling. There are some who are in business, they are moving. There are some who are in business but they need advice.
Exactly. It's a very, very good question, Mr. Ignatius. Thank you for such a question. But it's quite a wide question. It has a very wide scope of that requires a wide analysis. But being an entrepreneur actually means being innovative.
That's the first thing.
Exactly. You need to understand what being an entrepreneur is. Being a self-motivated and innovative character who generates ideas to bring a couple of other complements on board.
Being innovative.
Exactly.
Being creative.
Exactly.
With ideas.
With ideas that bring other components on board.
If I miss on this, do I become an entrepreneur?
You will hardly make it. Because when you don't have innovation, when you don't have creativity, when you don't have focus, it's very difficult for you to keep guided on the right track to achieve your set objectives.
I can understand now.
So you have to follow a certain set of protocols to achieve your set objectives. So being an entrepreneur, you must first of all generate very outstanding ideas that are not, I should say ideas that are not existing in order to satisfactorily excel.
But most of us duplicate business.
Yeah, when you duplicate, of course, you can still duplicate and work out, but you will not achieve your goals like that one who has come up with fresh ideas. For example, you look at an entrepreneur like for TV. They will hardly get competitors. They will hardly struggle because they came up with a fresh idea.
In a region or in
a region. Are we together? In a region. So when you come up with innovatively fresh ideas, people embrace them and you move quite faster. Entrepreneurship is all about innovating ideas.
It takes me to the other question, which I normally find with people. Should I jump into a business, or I should have something that drives me to start up a business?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because sometimes we make a lot of mistakes because we just look at people doing businesses. We think that it's just a matter of joining up, waking up one day and starting up a business. Before you start a business physically, a business must start in your mind. And how does it start in your mind? It starts in your mind by having a dream.
It starts from the mind.
From the mind before you physically deploy it.
You generate the dream.
You generate the dream in the mind. You do some feasibility study, still in the mind, as you look through the environment you want to.
Opportunities within
exactly, with the opportunities within the environment you want to join. Once you do that very well, it sets you, it makes you ready to join a competitive marketing environment.
So you don't just jump.
You don't just jump and begin a business before preparing yourself for the risks involved. Of course, being an entrepreneur, you must be a risk bearer, a very serious risk bearer. But however, in order for you to bear the risks, you must prepare yourself for that kind of environment. Otherwise, you will crash before you can even start.
From that discussion, I get a lot of things to learn from this.
Yes.
That you don't just need to jump into the business.
Exactly.
You don't need to just jump into an idea because you are told there is money in poultry.
Exactly.
That is the business of the next day.
Yeah. it's a very, very important. That's why I always guide people who want to be entrepreneurs about following certain principles. I normally advise my colleagues or those young ones who want to be entrepreneurs to always be guided by. I normally follow the 5 C's of entrepreneurships.
The 5 C's. What is the first C?
Competence.
The first C being?
Competence.
What is about competence?
Competence. You need to learn about how to do things. If you want to penetrate a certain field, you must have knowledge that is required to easily penetrate a certain industry and excel.
What if?
You must have knowledge about that product that you are going to sell outside there, and your target clients can consume.
Knowing who you are.
Exactly.
In that field.
Exactly.
And who you can be.
Exactly.
In that in that line of business.
Exactly.
The second C?
After competence, of course, you must have the confidence. If you are competent but you are not confident of your competence, you can't sell your competence.
It is competent.
Yeah.
Competence versus
confidence. You must have the confidence to sell your competence. You see, we have had very brilliant guys. Yeah. We have had very brilliant guys. We have them there outside there, by the way. Very brilliant guys who can innovatively do a number of things. But because they lack confidence, they cannot sell their competence.
When you speak about this, I have a forum. I'm in a forum of farmers and a forum where they are also innovators. Actually, there was this big question that was asked in the forum, that why is it that most innovators in Uganda do not excel in business? They have the best ideas. They come up with good innovations. Yes. But getting out of where they are to go beyond where they are becomes very hectic. And surprisingly, some of them die with the innovations.
Exactly.
Before they get to mature.
Exactly. That's.
Is it about this?
It's a very same issue we are talking about. You can have very brilliant ideas which can work very well outside there, but when you lack the confidence, the zeal and will to stand up on your own altogether and sell out your idea.
Don't you think it is a bit hard to stand alone? Oh. That is the time when you don't have money. That is when you're standing alone. That is the time when you lose friends. Because
standing alone does not, in this context, I did not mean actually working alone.
No, I mean,
there is a difference.
Like when, what I'm trying to refer here is, you know, the journey to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
In the beginning, it is very hectic. You don't even get paid. Exactly. But you can pay others. You don't get paid as an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
But for you fight to pay others. That is paying our workers, paying your creditors and all that. In the beginning. Actually, in the beginning, it may even attract lousy pay.
Exactly. Exactly. I know what you're talking about. This is why I told you Being an entrepreneur, actually, it takes a number of things. You must have that foundation. You must have adequate knowledge about what you need to sell outside there. When you are very confident of what you possess, I'm telling you, even if you work for 3 years without earning anything, but you are very confident of the knowledge and wisdom that you are armed with, I'm telling you, it will come a time when you will break through.
Because I know at some point, we must, you and me, can understand what really is behind this. That in the beginning, you see, like you've been a manager of a certain bank, you've been a manager of a certain estate. Now you decide to quit your job, go and start up a small business or a big business. You may go, in the beginning it may not be a big business, it may be a small business. But just like I can say, you lose friends. Why? Because the people who thought that who were coming to you because there is something that maybe you were giving them, that is including the relatives, including the friends, even to the extent that even you can be rejected by your own people because you no longer have the money. Actually, I say that entrepreneurs find themselves without money. Why? Because they need a lot of money to push their businesses. That's why every coin that comes into the business goes to look for money.
That's true.
Because they are looking at the other aspect of a multiplier effect. How do I multiply the money? How do I use that money? How can I get this money, make money for me? Now, because of that, of such lifestyle, you find that your friends who used to, like, let's go to get a small beer, let's go and get a bottle of beer, let's go and have fun, such weekends, such moments, you start now finding yourself without that time.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Ignatius, but when you have a serious cause for development, are we together? If you have a very serious vision, there are certain things you outgrow. If you have friends who are based on issues like having a small beer, having a small fun, who do not have focus, I'm telling you, in actual sense, those are not true friends. So those ones you can neglect and focus on your idea. At the end of the day, when you make it out there, they will understand the potential within you, and believe me, you will even get better friends. You will get true friends at the end of the day. So never be limited by such small things. Those are temporary. Those are temporary small things.
Don't you think it calls the other question where you hear someone says, wafuna sente n'otwerabira?
Sichecho, because just like you said it, as you are beginning, why do you think people isolate themselves from yourself? They isolate themselves because you don't have in the beginning. They were with you in the beginning because you had. That's what you talked about initially.
My friend, that's why we are saying normal versus abnormal. You know, like being an entrepreneur, you have to be abnormal. You have to go abnormal. That's why when you hear some of the ideas, some of the things that we are discussing, they may sound to be abnormal to you, and you are like, Banabasada, what are they talking about today? But I want to tell you that we are trying to look at really the real life of an entrepreneur and the journey he takes to be what he wants to be, to attract the money that you see him with, to attract the businesses that he has or he generates, the revenue, the friends, the connections, the network, all that is coming out of certain things that he either forgoes certain things so that he can get certain things. You were talking about the second C, and now we are waiting for the third C. You said you normally follow
the five C's.
5 C's.
I talked
now we are waiting for the third.
I talked of the first one being the competence.
Yes.
I explained it very well. I talked about the confidence.
That is second?
That's second. You have to have the character. You see, certain businesses require certain characters. The way you conduct yourself vis-a-vis a certain professionalism matters a lot.
I'm interested to understand what
yes,
character.
the character you portray out there, it's very, very important. You may not be that very character, but you might have to accommodate that character in order to sell your product.
What does this character come with?
I do not get your question.
I mean, you've talked about the third C, which is character. What does it comprise of?
Yeah, the way you behave yourself, the way you brand yourself outside there.
One is branding.
Yeah, the way you brand yourself.
One is how you take yourself in the market.
Yeah, in the marketplace, in a competitive market environment. For example, Mr. Ignatius, you are selling money outside there. The main product you sell outside there is money. How do you associate yourself with money? How do you deal with your clients? How do you behave? Can a person look at you and confide in you? I know this is a genuine person. Are we together? Or you are a person who is not trustworthy. You know, there are people who deal in money with different intentions, with different motives. Who are interested. You have seen those people in that very same field of yours. A person deals in money, but with other motives. His actual objective is not actually getting profits from the money, but is acquiring property through other dubious means. Are you getting me? So the character you portray out there.
What did it take for you to brand yourself? Because I've seen you get contracts outside Fort Portal, Uganda, and move traversing so many areas in the different areas of this country, sourcing and getting that business. What did it really take for you to brand yourself in that?
In my character, I ensured that my character had qualities that my clientele would confide in. For example, timeliness.
Time delivery?
Timeliness, exactly. Timeliness, not just in delivering everything that you do.
With appointments, with awards?
With everything. Timeliness. Time is a very big factor of production, by the way, if you didn't know. If you don't manage time very well, it can be disastrous in the progress of your business. So when you have a character of managing time very well, just know that's the beginning of success. Altogether, trustworthiness. What we call reliability. A person will assign you with an activity, and you assure a client that in a day or in an hour, I will have this task accomplished. But you drag a client for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, still on the same stories. I'm telling you, you will not survive in a competitive market economy for 2 years. You will not survive. You will deceive a number of them, but the more you deceive them, the more they meet. They keep on talking about your character, your discipline. At the end of the day, after 2 years, you are out of the competitive market environment. And such people keep on actually migrating from places to places. You find this year I'm in Fort Portal, after 2 years I'm in Imbarada, after 3 years, like that. Because they have failed to tame their character.
I think that's where I was saying in my book, where I was saying the grasshopper's approach in business, that some of us chase money like as if we are chasing grasshoppers.
Exactly.
We fly with how money, like you see how money like moves, and you are chasing it in that.
No, there is chasing for money, which is okay, in form of expansion, business expansion. You are here.
No, you are told that money has gone to Vunduvuju. Now the next day you are in Vunduvuju. You are told that
you migrate.
Yeah, you have shifted.
You abandon this place and you absolutely.
Yes, the next day you are told that now money has moved to Masaka.
Exactly.
Now from Vunduvuju now to Masaka. And you know how our friends say, hey,
exactly. Because you don't have ability to attract the money from where you are through this 5 elements I talked about. That's what makes people move from hope. Actually, we call it hoping. You hope from place to place, chasing after money.
Because you are like chasing grasshoppers. But that was even the ancient way. Because currently, the people that are also concentrating on the business of catching the grasshoppers are now building, like they put lights to attract grasshoppers. They no longer chase them the way they move. They attract them.
Exactly.
That is the simple way I was teaching about money in that direction. That can you create something that can attract money wherever it is to come to where where you want it to be. And other than you chasing wherever you are told that now money is in chicken, now the next day the business is chicken. Now you are told now the money has moved. It is now if you maybe you have to deal in agriculture, you have to be in agriculture. Now the next day you are in agriculture because you are just chasing money.
I know.
Is that not associating related to character?
Yeah, surely you should have a character.
The third C.
Yeah, that should define you very well before your clientele, which should make a clientele confide in you, just like I explained. If you do not have a character that can make a client feel secure dealing with you, I'm telling you, you will not survive in a competitive
That means
market.
You must be more reliable.
Exactly, I talked about reliability.
There is being reliable and liable. How do we differentiate the two?
Being reliable
and liable. If you make a mistake in your business, you must be ready to be liable.
Exactly. You own.
You own and,
yes.
agree and accept
and
that
accept
this is
exactly
what didn't go right.
Exactly.
Or this is what went
right. And here we can handle this problem. Of course, we are not always very straight. Sometimes we get challenges. As long as you own your own, you own your own challenge and you manage it genuinely before your client, it's understandable. For example, you have been in the ICT sector for long. Sometimes you're working on systems. You find you have a problem with an application. Altogether, you expected to deliver a certain application within 2 days, but unfortunately, some other innovators come in with their hacking abilities. Are we together? They come in, of course, in a competitive marketplace. They come in with, then other knowledgeable guys come in with their hacking abilities and they antagonize whatever you have set up for a client. So, and of course, such inefficiencies are realized, which of course buys more time to rectify that and ensure that all insecurity potholes are done are covered. So, but you have to be as you said,
liable.
You have to be liable. You have to own the problem,
reliable.
Be clear to the client, explain to the client, and manage a problem. I'm not saying because of this character concept, everything moves on smoothly. There are certain things, of course, which come in, and negative impacts that come in, but how do you present yourself before a client? How do you explain the problem?
That goes back to character.
Yeah, to character. How do you explain yourself to a client? Do you keep on deceiving a client, just dodging around, moving around? Are we off the point? Or you genuinely express yourself and explain to the client that, you know what, there has been an intervention, a negative intervention because of A, B, C, D, and therefore I'm requesting for much more time to ensure that I have this problem solved.
I can see character.
Yeah. Clarity.
Character getting related to customer care.
Exactly.
Your character
yes.
The character has also to be more related with customer care. How you handle your customers.
Exactly.
How are you going to deal with your customers? How do you understand about the people that you are serving? How are these people getting convinced of your services?
Very true. Customer care is one of the components of defining that C. The third C.
Which is the character.
Which is the characters.
Now, what is the fourth character? What is the fourth C? We've talked about confidence. We've talked about...
we started with competence. We talked about confidence. We talked about character. Creativity.
Creativity. Fourth character.
That is the fourth
C.
That's the fourth C.
Is there a fifth C?
Yeah. There's a fifth C.
What is it?
But I have to first explain this. Yeah. Of course.
What is about
creativity?
What is about creativity?
As the fourth C. It's a very powerful C actually among the C's. Much as you have the competence, much as you have the confidence, much as you have the character, if you don't concretize on this fourth C, of creativity, I'm telling you, you will not survive for long in a competitive market environment because of change. We are living in a changing world. Many innovations come out there which can put you out of the market altogether.
Many innovations.
Yeah, they come out there. Competitive innovations come out there which can easily lift you out of the business environment that you are in and throw you out completely. So if you are not creative enough to think ahead of time and bring new ideas on board to blend what you already have, then you can easily...
Certainly you will be out of the market.
Yes, you lose the point in a very short while.
Could I think that this is one of the reasons why we see people who were giants in business...
Exactly, collapse after a very short while.
Are no longer normal.
Exactly. But you find someone has spent 20 years
in business.
In business. Altogether. In the very same area without hoping, like you talked about. In the very same area, performing very well and actually attracting more clientele. It's because of this season. You keep on blending the business, attributing towards the business. Altogether. Bringing new components, new ideas, rebranding yourself. Are you getting me? Appearing new all the time to your client. Appearing with a new product all the time before your client. It's very important.
From that perspective, you've been in innovation.
For example, I'm sorry to intervene. Because I'll need to use you a number of times because I've equally worked closely with you.
Yeah.
I have seen you sell money outside there. But because I'm in the multimedia, I do printing, I do IT, a number, I do graphics. That's you know. But I have seen you a number of times come to support me.
In different ways.
In different ways. You are selling the very same money you are selling, but you approach me in different modalities, with different approaches. Today you come, you rebrand the same money you are selling. that this is on the very same product you are selling the very same money. It's not different. If you have not jumped from shillings to dollars, you are selling the very same shillings. Tomorrow you come with which product? Rahuka. You come with the Rahuka loan, but this is the very same money you are selling. What are you trying to do? Exactly, you are trying to create a number of channels that will sell out your product in very different ways to bring all different characters on board, different clients on board. The other one you have called him through Rahuka means. This one you have called him Kwatanese means. The other one you have called through. But you are selling the same product. Are you getting me? This is the same money from the same basket. Are you together? But because of that innovation,
you have to be creative.
Yes, because of that innovation, you will capture different people, different minds of the people, different mindsets of the people. That's why you have to play around with rebranding, with creativity, with innovation. So that C, that fourth C, is very
powerful.
Important.
I can understand what is really about the fourth.
This is the same product you are selling. You can imagine. You have not brought a new product on board. I'm giving you an example, but you are just playing around with the same product.
But
and actually, even a client may even consume that product more expensively, but contented.
That's very powerful.
More expensive, but because you have branded it in a way that convinces the client.
It's the capital tank, and the program is poverty tank versus the capital tank, or capital tank versus the poverty tank. We talk about money, and we understand. The biggest thing that most of us need to know is how money works. You see, the biggest challenge that we have is that in schools, these topics are not always there. We don't discuss about these topics. That's why we have first-class students graduate from good colleges or universities, but when they come on ground, they cannot understand what we are doing on ground. Now, that's why every Saturday you have to save time, save space, so that you can always watch this program. The program that is really looking at unlocking your financial limits. You don't need, there are so many things that when we talk with smart people like Mr. James here, who are in the real life of business, who understand what we are discussing about, who really know what it takes to be an entrepreneur, we break the limits to our financial goals.
Exactly.
It's very powerful when you understand yourself and identify yourself. He has talked about the different C's and the 5 C's. I'm still learning a lot from him. The first C, the second C, the third C. And if you've really missed this, you can go back and start from where we've been. The good thing, we are on different channels, Facebook, different apps, YouTube. So you can go back and start where we've started from. Now, you will really learn that business involves a lot of things. That's why it is not only that what you've studied from school is 100%, as 100% to make you succeed in business. There is a lot to learn, especially when we learn from the practical doers of business. Learning from people who are in the industry, who are dealing directly. Then we have more knowledge and more opportunities to tap into and become successful in business. The capital tank, we discuss about money and how money works. If you want to make money, or you generate more money, then don't miss on every Saturday. As we go for a short break, when we come back, we'll be continuing from where we've been, and don't go away.
Eklezia Rugatwa ya Virka ndahali entebe nkuru emorelezo isaza ya Fort Poto urusurwayo nurabwa mwenjura bukwa rukuzire nabwe kintu yataga siringisi obuhondo 2 rundi bilioni 2 sente za Uganda ntukusaba oheyo no bwenda mukama eja kumugisa mibali sitwe erya mwana nerya moyo mukirire amina.
He must be rich, tall, handsome, from a respectable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
Why? Overdolo byokusimu.
Yamunange, anti your TV enkolera.
Enjoy a new world of entertainment with over 80 TV and radio channels, plus movies from wherever you are. Download the Yo TV Channels app from your app store and enjoy 30 days of free streaming with MTN.
Yo TV Channels, the power is in your hands.
Bagira orufumu olwabayisenkulu witwe oluli very meaningful olwina amakulu agamaanyi okugamba ngu amata gatahatwa lwagatahasireho ata kagatahatahoga tagatahata obwagatahata amata agagata kandi amata obwokumara gata tosobola kwongera okagayoramu.
Choir Twinners, okay. That is Arari Chigambo. I really love his music. He's a very good guy in music.
He's quite a good guy with very, very developmental songs, actually. His songs have they have a lot of constructive messages. That's why I love his lyrics. His content has
original music.
It has very powerful message.
That's why we've played his song in the Capital Tank. Now, as we continue, I don't know, but if it feels like we need the whole day to discuss about this, but it's like time is always chasing us so fast in everything we are doing. And I'm happy that you talked about time.
Yes, exactly.
Being an entrepreneur, you need to be conscious about time.
It's a
you need to mind about time.
Very strong factor along our production line, along our delivery. Yeah, it's a very, very strong key factor that we must be mindful of in whatever we do. If you neglect this component of time, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Now, there is a lot that really we can't exhaust, but given the little time that we have, let's look at really a few of. We just look at how we can just talk about different things, but in a shortest period of time.
Exactly. We have talked about the forces. Of course, if we get back on point, we are coming with the last C.
I'm interested to hear the last C.
The last C of being a successful entrepreneur. We have talked of competence. You have already built the competence. You have it there. We have talked of the confidence to sell your competence, because without the confidence, you cannot sell your competence. So once you have
that confidence, that point picked me.
Yes.
Took me too deep to think.
Sells exactly your competence. Of course, once you have the confidence and you have the competence and the confidence, of course, you have to have a character which portrays positively before your clients. We exhaustively talked about that, and it's a very, very crucial and important.
Creativity.
We talked about creativity. Innovation. If you are not creative, you cannot survive in this competitive market environment. It's changing every day. Remember those days we used to do business through other means, through traveling in buses and buying things and loading them on lorries and coming back. Now we are doing businesses online. We have integrated heavily the component of ICT all together. We have generated a lot of channels through which we do business, through which we approach our clientele. All that is through creativity. You have to be creative enough to ensure that you sustain your business. So if you don't have that component, it's really a big struggle, especially in today's changing and competitive business environment. And the last C, of course, is communication.
Last C
is communication.
You've done all the other forces.
Yes, once you have all the other factors in form of the forces, and you don't sell them, then they are useless. It's like having knowledge and sitting on it at home. It's like having a lot of knowledge about a number of things. There are those people actually, they are out there. They are very much informed with a lot of well-positioned and potential matters. But because they don't have that gift of communication,
they cannot sell their ideas.
To sell the ideas.
They cannot sell their products.
Exactly.
Nor can they sell the services.
And yet they are very talented. They are there outside there. So this is why sometimes if you don't have that
communication,
that ability within you, that strength within you. That's why sometimes that skill within you, that talent. That's why you have seen actually people get managers to manage them, like these musicians. Person has a talent, he can perform a number of very constructive.
He can create good music. He can create
exactly,
but he cannot
sell
someone to sell it out.
Exactly, now to communicate that talent outside there.
So I pick a point that there is need for communication.
Exactly.
If you can't communicate on your behalf, then you can hire someone.
You can network. You can hire someone We normally don't have all these abilities at the same time, but it can only be possible when you identify and accept that there is an inability somewhere.
That's why in this year, I've developed a program, Unlock Your Financial Limits. And one of the things that is also coming in there is unlock your sales potential.
Exactly.
As any entrepreneur, as many of us we are in business, we need to unlock that limit.
Exactly.
Because if you are not selling, if you are not talking to people, if you are not getting people buy what you have, then of course you go dry. You don't have money.
Very true. The whole idea about becoming actually a successful entrepreneur is about understanding the things I have talked about. Once you understand them properly, even if you don't possess all of them, you can network with other people. You learn how to work. The whole issue is about understanding them and knowing their importance. Whatever is missing within your structure, you network with the fellas. If I know IG is good at marketing, or TV, or Fort TV,
I can bring my advert on Fort TV.
Fort TV is good at reaching out to a certain cluster of clientele. Then I can work through, because you can't have it all. You can't have it all.
You can't do everything.
Yes, so you can work through others. We partner and work through others, and at the end of it all, we wholesomely achieve our dreams.
When you talked about communication, doesn't this call for someone to have a department in every business or a team of communicators?
Yeah, not necessarily. Sometimes it's very, very okay if you have the potential and the capacity. But sometimes if you do not have the capacity to do that within yourselves, you outsource. This is what I told you before. You cannot have it all.
You cannot be everything.
You cannot be everything.
You
work with another person.
For instance, you are producing show.
Yes.
And you may be locally.
Yes.
And at the same time, you are in production. You are now coming from production. You go back to packaging. From packaging, now you go to distribution.
Branding,
from distribution.
It becomes a very complex thing to manage altogether. It's good you identify where your area of competence is altogether. Then some of other factors you liaise with other people.
That's why
with other professionals.
That's why Ignatius loves to work with smart people. I love to associate myself with smart people.
Exactly.
They give you smart ideas. They give you smart
it will be
advice.
Exactly. It will be very, very cost effective for you to sustainably manage your business. Yeah, because you don't have to employ a whole communication team to sit down there and start doing this when you already have an existing body that can do that at a relatively a cheaper cost. And how often do you do that also matters than having a whole communication team which needs salary every month at the end of the month, even if the thing is done once a month or once after 3 months. You see? So you need to be very, very, very mindful about how you manage your business, about how you interlink it with other potential partners who can take it to an extra mile to ensure that your dream is achieved.
It's the Capital Tanker, and if you want to leave, maybe get your comment to us, you can still get us on WhatsApp number 0784 829845. That is, if you want to reach us on WhatsApp, we can still respond to you. Maybe you have something to contribute, maybe you have something to share. You can still get us on that very number 0784 829845. Then we'll still respond to you depending on the question. If you have a comment, you have a suggestion, we can still look into that. Now, I know there are things that entrepreneurs always love to have, and all like when you talked about character, when you talked about confidence, communication, I find some of these things much as I would like to share them in a different way, but I find that they are still there. And you've already maybe shared some of them, but maybe I would want to also make an extension of what you could have shared. As an entrepreneur, you have a lot to make sure that you multiply your money.
And exactly, and that's what makes you an entrepreneur. You're not
Multiply
about
the money.
You're not about generating ideas and sitting on them. What are these ideas for? For generating money and multiplying money. That's what actually makes you a concrete entrepreneur. If you are an entrepreneur to generate ideas and just sit back, then you are not a true entrepreneur.
Controlling expenses.
Exactly.
As an entrepreneur,
Exactly.
you have to control expenses.
You have to deploy all strategies that can minimize minimize all costs of production to the best of your knowledge.
As an entrepreneur.
Yes. It's a key requirement.
Guard your treasures.
Very true.
You need to not to lose your treasures.
I agree with you 100%.
Do not let, I normally call them, we have the predators, we have the parasites. When I was writing my book, I used those words, the predators and the parasites.
Exactly.
So as an entrepreneur, you need to avoid the predators.
You must know where your company's strength lies. That's the area that needs a lot of it needs a lot of attention. Exactly.
So you need to make sure that you protect your money.
Exactly.
You don't need to lose your money.
That's where strength lies. When you don't have money, even if you have ideas, sometimes it becomes very difficult to move those ideas further unless you have money.
So, as an entrepreneur, now the challenge is that when we become when you start up something, it causes some people to think that you've already gone ahead and you now have what to give them. And a number of our friends, a number of our relatives will be coming to you to thinking that for you have now got what to give them. And eventually you find that the business comes back to the original stage because of money comes in and money goes out. What is your advice on that?
You see, some time back when I was working with a civil society organization, actually it did a lot of work. I want to thank that big man there, Mr. Alex Ruhunda. Thank you for the mentorship. I worked with him.
Alex Ruhunda,
we worked with him in KLC. But he did a lot of great work in mentoring us. I'm one of his products, by the way. I really did very well there for 2 years. After I had completed my university, I started with him. And I had a lot of exposure through his mentorship and the guidance and direction. But there's one thing he used, I remember about him, he used to insist altogether. If to make someone successful altogether, do not give him the fish, but give him the hook and the knowledge to fish. Altogether, to hook the fish altogether. So, in the very same manner, when you have relatives, as you said, you have those people who would wish to crop up from your strength, the best thing you can give them is not money. Because giving them money,
what do you give them?
Knowledge, not to make money. You equip them.
Are
with
they
knowledge.
willing to get your knowledge if you are not giving them money?
Yeah, if they are not willing, then they are not ready. If they are not willing to get something which is sustainable, it means that you are dealing with the wrong team. It means they are not ready, surely. You must make them understand and give them something more sustainable. Are we together? Mr. Ignatius, you giving me 50,000 today and giving me mechanism or strategies of how to make 50,000 per day. What sounds more sustainable?
You see, the challenge is that many of us love to get that money faster. And if you are telling me
that is for today, what about tomorrow? Will you give me today, give me tomorrow and the other day? You cannot
Are
manage
you not
that.
standing on a risk to lose your relatives because they would think you are a super guru?
No,
You don't release money?
No, that's not a big problem. I would not actually stand. It depends on how you present yourself. That's why I told you the other factor is very important. The other C factor of character.
So they know that the character of James does not give you money, but will give you ideas to make
and
money.
knowledge and whatever.
To generate money.
When he genuinely loves you, and when he genuinely wishes to see you move from one step to a better step. People, the way you present yourself matters a lot. That clarity, it's very important.
I had a story of
than meandering around. I mean, pretending as if you want to give when you can't give. No, that clarity is very good. I mean, welcome the people, bring them on board, explain to them ABC where you can support. Of course, you can kickstart. Kickstarting is not bad where you can. If you see that the person has really acquired these skills, the person is really well determined and very ready to take off, I mean, you can equip with knowledge and even kickstart. That's not a problem. And you can even kickstart on certain terms. After a period of A, B, C, D, I need this money to come back into this business so that we don't leave a loophole in here.
Allow me to share this story with you. There was a colleague, there was a young man had just married. You know, when you've just married and you are still in that honeymoon period of time. Now, what he did, he started a small, it was like, he was more of a stockist, getting some drinks, stocking them, and allowed his wife to be one in charge. So he bought so many crates of beers and put them there. What the wife did was to call the relatives from the village that you don't know what is happening here. What is happening here
requires your physical presence.
When the guys came, they had to help her drink as much as they can. But the guy was coming back into the business, found all the crates were empty. He was excited to feel like the wife has done a lot of work to make sure that he can sell.
She has sold all them.
She has sold all of them. Going to ask the wife about the money to bring new stock, said it was consumed by your in-laws. The man looked down and felt like is now becoming helpless.
See, that's a very, very big risk of entrusting money with someone or business with someone without preparing that person. At the end of the day, you find sometimes the problem was not the woman, actually it was the man. You don't engage and entrust someone with such big resources without preparing the person to take up certain responsibilities.
Did you hear the statement? Yes. Come, what has happened here is
unbelievable. It requires your physical presence to witness.
and the guys had to come very fast.
That's the problem.
So the problem was not the wife.
It was not
according
the wife.
to you.
According to me, it was not the wife. It was the man not having the ability to assess, analyze, prepare, and then deploy. You cannot deploy someone to a field where you have not trained a person.
Oh,
you have not cautioned someone.
You've not put the person in what he's going to do.
Exactly, in what he's going to do.
And preparing that person.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you're expecting results from a fella.
You have only one lesson to learn from here, that I know they are young people and they have such visions, such dreams, that maybe I want to start something for my girlfriend. I want to start something for my wife, something. So, according to this discussion, James is advising us that you need to prepare that person.
Yeah.
The first principle. First prepare that person.
Exhaustively, not just prepare, exhaustively prepare the person. Even before you can assign responsibility, you have to test In software development, we have different phases. We developers in this sector of ICT.
So you don't just need to bring that person and dump him into the
Exactly.
business.
You don't just deploy an application in a market environment without having several tests. Are we together? You understand, you analyze, you develop, you test. After testing this product with associated risks, and you are at the end of it all, after being satisfied that this product is ready, then
let the person run the business.
exactly.
Now, do not ask yourself why. I know this is a question to some of us, especially for those that have had our friends, our relatives into businesses, and perhaps, or sometimes, we've seen these businesses collapse. So there is something that you can learn. That is one, did you prepare that person for that business?
Exactly. It's a very big question. For example, Mr. Ignatius, you are dealing in money. Here you will advertise for a position. For you call them loans officers?
Yeah,
or what?
loans officers, credit officers.
A credit officer. You get a credit officer, you have not taken time to go through his
train
papers,
him.
you have not taken time. Not just the papers, actually. Papers might not even be useful in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
But testing the person. You can have papers when you actually, in actual sense, you don't own them. From your principles, from the level of your understand. You can have the marks 80, 90, whatever. But in actual sense,
With
you
good
don't have
grades.
them in your practice. So it's very, very, very tricky there. When you get these people, enroll them in the system. Train them before you assign serious responsibility to them. Before you expose them to risks. Because the market economy is a very big risk.
Yeah,
There are very many challenging factors in there. There are many predators, as you called them, in the market environment. Hungry hyenas are there. I want to survive by all means.
the lions.
The lions are there. They want to survive by
You
any
can eventually
opportunity.
become
They
the prey.
they take advantage of any opportunity, any ignorance. They take advantage of, and the person is gone. Are we together? You can trust someone with money, go and sell out this money outside there. Before even he leaves your doorway, the money is stolen from the person. Have you prepared this person how to handle money?
Okay.
Have you prepared this person on the set of protocols that are required in a competitive marketplace? Does this person understand the risks associated with this kind of activity? Does he know precautions of managing certain problems in case of certain calamities? So it's all about us. Sometimes we make a lot of mistakes and we want to blame the people we have exposed to certain risks.
We keep a blame game.
Yes, which is very, very bad and dangerous. These are fresh, green young men and women who need to be oriented very well, who need to be integrated into the system, who need to be tested fully before they can be exposed to a risky and competitive market environment.
Oh, let me read this message. Thanks, James and Ignatius, for this really lovely show. We really appreciate, and we are learning a lot in business. Keep on, keep giving us ideas in business. Teach us more. I would love to know more about how James became an entrepreneur, if at all he was an employee somewhere.
Yes.
Oh,
it's a very good question and a hot one. Yeah. What is her name?
This is called the. Let me check. He's called the Kenneth.
Kenneth, thank you.
Or from Barara.
Mr. Kenneth, thank you
Watching from Barara.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth, for such a very strong question. Lovely and very strong question. Yes. In the very first beginning, actually, I did not begin as an entrepreneur, as I told you. I was employed somewhere. Normally, in most cases, most successful entrepreneurs start from somewhere. This is one of the things we must admit and accept. There are very, very few, if any, people who jump out from
school
and begin off immediately and become successful. It's very complex because you are not exposed
to the
or else or when they become successful. Before they become successful, they lose a lot.
How do you look at my advice where I say that me...
I need to respond to that.
First respond. Yeah, because he's watching and he's listening.
Exactly.
All the way from Mbarara. That's where he says he's watching from.
Exactly. He asked a very good question. How did I become an entrepreneur? I told you after campus, I was employed actually. My first job was... my first real, what I would call a real job.
Yeah,
because I had a number of them before.
Actually, that's why we have a number of them saying that before you become an entrepreneur, you fail so many times.
Exactly.
Because you had so many things that you have done.
I had a number of them before having a defined job. Are we together? But my first defined job, I worked with KRC, with Mr. Alex Ruhonda, as I told you, the current MP. Yeah, KRC. I had completed university, I had worked, tried out a number of things, tried out my potential. Meanwhile, I was building a very strong basis of foundation within my professionalism because I had, I did IT and I was so good in it. I used even to feel myself. I was very competent. The other first C that I talked about, because I used to solve a number of problems. I used to solve a number of problems for clients around me as a student, but of course I didn't know the value of money. I didn't know the value of my knowledge. I would work out, you give me 10,000, that day is gone. Even if I would do work worth 200,000, I did not know money. Are you getting me? I would do and charge somehow.
There's a principle, make money multiply.
Just like that. But it so happened one time I had an advert I applied for that very job. I joined. And the panelists who were sitting on an interview panel, are we together? Evaluated us, and they exactly found out that they had got something that they had been looking for so many.
What could it be?
For so many years. Myself, I was a gap that was missing within that institution, according to the panelists. So when I was employed, I worked for a couple of months, being assigned different tasks, very hard tasks. But as I was accomplishing these tasks, of course people were watching, and I was getting exposed. Are you getting me? I was getting exposed to different various partner organizations. Now, I did not know my strength until after some time when I started receiving calls from partner organizations because of the products I had genuinely developed for these institutions. Like databases, like websites, management information systems, to name it but a few. So people who would come to use these tools in this place where I was employed picked a lot of interest in the knowledge behind this. That's the other first C I talked about, the first C of competence. Are you getting me? Out of my competence...
I can now understand how you developed the 5 C's.
Exactly. Out of the competence, altogether, I started getting exposed because people would come and look at the tools, use the tools, and then ask for the person or the knowledge, the brain behind these tools. I started getting connections from these partner organizations. Are you getting me? At the end of it all, they started giving me business. Well, the
people who found you doing.
Yeah, who found me doing these great works, genuinely concentrated on doing these great works. They started giving me what? Business.
Because turning attention into clients.
Exactly. Are you getting me? But I realized that I was at work, at someone's work.
You cannot really do a lot.
I cannot do a lot. So I would go an extra mile and work at night, the whole night, developing for people tools, websites, developing for them databases, developing for them systems at night. Then in the morning again, I'm on my job.
Financial systems, payroll systems.
Exactly.
Market systems.
Point of sale systems for supermarkets and the rest. Hospital administration systems, etc. Management information systems. So at the end of the day, I started getting known through these partners. Are you getting me? But I realized that there was too much demand outside there.
Okay.
And I realized that I would make money in 2 days.
Quit my job or stay on my job?
Money that I would develop one tool, and make money which was worth 6 months of my salary. Are you getting me?
I can now understand how the mindset
the potential
is
partners
from get
employed.
I need to be an employee to now I need to be an employer.
Exactly.
I need to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly. The potential partners made me realize what I was worth. Because for me, I used to do these things as a student. I used to attain satisfaction from solving problems, not from money. Because I didn't know money, actually.
you didn't know money. And that's why, because in schools, they don't teach about money.
Exactly. I didn't know about money. My whole satisfaction, my whole happiness would come from being appreciated by, from the client's appreciation of my developed product.
What you've done for them.
Exactly. For the problem.
And you didn't even know how to cost.
I didn't know how to cost them. Actually, you have reminded me of a very good scenario. There's a product. There's a man who linked me to a certain institution. Are we together? For example, maybe the whole there's certain kind of information which is personal, which I cannot share.
Yeah, it's okay. We just you don't need.
Okay, what I was earning, I will not talk about it.
Yeah, that is fine. Yes. It's fine.
Now there's a certain man who linked me up to a certain business. I went and did that work. I went and sat on my PC at night and did that work for 2 hours. Are we together?
2 hours?
Yes. And I completed the work. For example, if I was getting around 400,000 per month, me, I went and charged that work 600,000, which I had done
2 hours.
For 2 hours. I charged 600,000 and I presented my invoice to a certain gentleman who had linked me. When he looked at the invoice, he said, "Yes, human, are you a fool? You do such a great work and you bring an invoice of 600,000? Can you go back and present something of around 6 million shillings?" I ran mad because I would not believe that
you
was
the, from zero. You had some zeros.
That was the man who taught me
how to think money,
what money is, and how to value your knowledge. Absolutely and honestly, I have to tell you the truth. I did not know it, and I didn't believe it.
Pricing.
I did not believe it. Something that I did for 2 hours. This was something to do with about graphics. I designed a certain content that was going to sell in, and then they used to call it an I magazine by then.
An I magazine?
Yes. The guy told me to go and re-cost.
He said, "Stop being stupid.
Stop being stupid. Go and request that. This is something that sells internationally."
So for you were charging 600.
You are charging 600,000. I went from that day.
Identify your net worth. It's very important, and I really understand this. That's the very big point. That's the very big challenge that most of our young people are struggling with. They don't know how to charge what they do.
They do not know how to value themselves exactly. I was a victim. I know what it means. So I'm trying to answer the gentleman from Mbarara. So what happened, I looked at this money I had done in 2 years. I looked up at the pile of work that I had at the workplace. I looked at the demand for the services I was offering that was out there, and I said there was need to take a decision. There was need to take a decision, but it was not easy. It was that fear. Will I make it outside when I jump out of this? Because this one was a comfort zone. Are you getting me? I was protected in here. Much as might be the salary was small or what, but I felt more comfortable because I was protected.
Even if things don't go,
yes, I would survive.
But I will get paid.
So I tried to move out. can I really make out? I was working internally there, doing my private business as well at night and during my free time. But somehow I had that fear to step out.
That what if?
What if?
The word is always what if.
Exactly, because all the contacts, the truth, all the exposure I got from this platform, from this organization. Are you getting me? So I had that special attachment with the institution. I was very loyal to the institution, first of all, very loyal to my bosses, to my people, very friendly work environment.
And I have a feeling that from university, when you had got that job, you thought that was all.
Exactly. This is what I thought in my life. That was the biggest opportunity. Are you getting me? But through those partners, my potential, they gave another value to my potential.
That has made you what you are now.
That has made me what I am today. So, after I'm trying to answer the man. After some time, I made a number of attempts to leave, but still I had that fear. Until, you know, within that institution we had formulated another, you know how civil society organization work. Without that institution, there was a child NGO also being developed by a mother institution. So we moved out from that institution and we had our separate premises after being developed by that mother organization.
Maybe you can repeat for us.
It is a little bit, okay.
we needed to get the step now to quit from a job.
Yes. You see, this organization of mine that employed me,
that had given you an opportunity,
that had given an opportunity as a fresh graduate. Within itself, it started an organization under it, a baby organization. A number of times, I mean, its system was like that. It started off so many organizations. It would start incubate. After an organization would gain some strength, it would let go.
Some others understand them as programs.
Exactly.
An NGO, but
having
different
programs. But after programs are gaining potential to operate on their own, then they let them go and operate independently. So when they left us go out of their hands and operate independently, but I would serve them remotely. While still there, I would work for two. For this child organization and again, our parent organization. So when I was outside there, I had a little bit of freedom because I was like the overall boss.
Yeah.
Looking after this institution. So I had to mentor someone who would replace me very fast because I had seen a better potential in a competitive market environment.
Okay.
So somehow, somewhere, I started gauging myself and gaining confidence. That is the second thing I was talking about. But really, don't I think I'm really ready for this market?
I can do better.
Can't I really move out from here and really, if I have managed to start out a child organization from this mother organization, and I have put it aside and it has satisfactorily and sustainably operated, can't I also start up something?
That was...
I went live and opened.
Your journey now to become an entrepreneur.
I opened while still working here. But now I failed to balance the two because there was more demand associated to money. And remember, this man here had opened my eyes about value.
You started seeing the papers.
Exactly. Whatever I was doing now, I started to think about the money, the value. Okay, I can have a click of a button and earn 200,000 in a twinkling of an eye. I said, oh my God, how I wish I knew years back.
I would have multiplied this.
Exactly. So this is what ignited the whole process of entrepreneurship. I realized my potential, what we referred to as competence in this chain of the 5 C's. I had a character which would define me so well, because I knew how to present myself. You asked me how do I work for all these institutions. You have seen me work for them, and they are satisfied with my service. That's not a lie. I had the competence and I had the character, because it is important. You can have competence, but you don't have character. You don't know how to work with people.
It's very important.
You are behaving like an animal. You cannot work with them, even if you have the golden whatever, the golden talent, the golden knowledge. You must have a character that defines you. So because I knew I had developed these things over time, and a mentorship of some people who had international experience, international exposure. So those people selflessly shared their wisdom with us, selflessly. So we earned quite a lot from them. I may not have earned a lot in form of money there, but the gestures that
really, I'm in a ministerial life, but would also love to have such information in our churches and in our communities. Thanks, big up. And if anyone wanted really such an engagement, such a discussion, how can he reach you out there? People are very interesting and excited about this program. Someone is saying that if you really wanted to invite any of us here, how can he reach us there? But
I think you are in the best position to answer that.
If you need us, we can always, you can just reach us on that very WhatsApp number, where you have tried to leave your comment. And we really want to inspire people. We want to teach people what is really in the real life of business.
Exactly.
So you have the right forum, since you made your comment on this very WhatsApp number. Thanks for being part of the show, and we also appreciate your energy to reach us.
Exactly. So I was still, thank you very much, viewer, but I was still trying to explain to the other gentleman, because I felt I would really it would be a very good opportunity for him to understand how to make it. I finally got there and independently started operating as an entrepreneur.
You burnt the fear now.
Exactly. I burnt the fear to do business. I burnt the fear to do what?
To do the business.
Exactly. I stepped out and went there to the fire outside. And interestingly, things worked out so well because of that very strong foundation that I had. I was prepared for the competitive marketplace, either knowingly or unknowingly. I was prepared while I was still working at the other institution. This is why I want to urge all those young men and women out there, whether you are paid or not, if you get an opportunity to work with those institutions as interns or as volunteers, please do not think that you are working for free. They are not paying you. Actually, what you are acquiring is much worth than money. The knowledge that you acquire in those institutions is much worth than the money. So never just look at money, but first get prepared for money. Get prepared to make money out. So that was a very, very interesting process that I went through. Again, when I got out there, yes, I got the money. I made the money much as I could, from zero to some position, at least. But I also came across another challenge. Being a younger man,
with a lot of money
I did not know how to manage money now. How do you manage this money, especially money from brain work.
The cost.
Are you getting me? The cost is your health. Knowledge and wisdom. I have developed a tool from my head. My peace is always there. Whether what or whether what does
it. That's the capital you needed.
It's the capital you needed by then. Also, it depends on what you are saying. So also managing that money was a problem. Learning how to manage it was a process. Yes, I have been exposed. I've got a clientele.
Does it really need me to first know how to manage money?
It is a problem. It is. I never knew that it would be a problem, but it is.
Until when it was a problem?
Until it was a problem, yes. Being a young man, what it means with money. It's bad when you don't give these young men real information. You'll be doing injustice to them.
That's why some of us, when you get a job, where you are earning,
you are spending habits. I was a younger man also.
You rent an apartment.
I knew all the entertainment places. I knew
the good drinks.
I knew the good drinks. So it also became another problem.
You had now after getting money, then there was another problem of managing money
now. It's also there are phases of things you have to go through. Yeah,
it's a bit crazy.
It's crazy.
Someone would be like, "Is it really?
Is it real?
How do I?"
But after some time,
you started developing principles.
Exactly, you develop principles. Even you get some guidance now, because now I was independent. You remember the other time I was in an environment where I was managed. You see, it's like coming from a school with rules, and joining a school without rules.
Without rules.
I experienced that in my ordinary levels. I suffered so much because I was from a school with serious rules and protection. But I joined a certain school at one time.
Don't you think this challenge is because our institutions,
do not,
our friends do not teach us about some of these things?
Exactly.
And when we get there, we are stuck. We don't know anything.
That's very true. This is what I'm trying to explain exactly.
Do we need to teach our children and maybe our children about money?
It becomes difficult to teach them when you don't have it. When you have it, well and good. But it is when you don't have it, you have the knowledge. It's very, very difficult to explain to your child and teach him about money when you don't have it. What is he going to manage? What exemplary methodologies are you going to present? You'll have the knowledge, and when you don't have money to engage the child, it becomes complex. Yes, you can talk about, you can teach, you can try, but it's very difficult until you are in it.
But we normally demand report cards.
Yes.
From children.
Yes, we do.
From our children.
Yes, we do.
But if to our like some of us who are old, when you get to adult age, your report card is your bank statement. So your children may also start to demand your bank statement to understand how you are performing. Because when we get out of school, for us, we are examined by bank statements. How much are you receiving and how much are you spending? When we are in school, we are examined by report cards. Like when you say that at some point you may fear to talk about money because you don't have it. That means you are also you are reaching a point of failing to demand a report card from your child because you are also fearing to discuss about your own report card. What is the bank statement?
For a genuine and live example would be demanding for a report when you have not injected in school fees. That would be a more relevant example.
Demanding a report?
When you have not injected in school fees, when you have not taken a child to school.
And you are demanding a report?
You are demanding for the as who? Are you getting the
I
point?
Understand.
You have to invest in order to demand. Are you getting me? Yeah, you have to be in that position.
So that you can demand for
which
that.
tags responsibility directly
to you.
Exactly.
So if you are not targeted to the responsibility, don't.
It becomes complex somehow. Naturally, it becomes complex.
So you are like.
So when you don't have money,
it's hard.
Reserving that time, which you would be spending in making money on teaching someone about something which is not present, it becomes very complex. I want to be very realistic.
But if I teach,
knowledge,
if I teach, don't you think if someone gets the information, if someone gets the the ideas on how money is made, how money is generated? Actually,
that's so good.
Actually, me and you, we don't make money. It is the bank and
we generate.
For us, we generate. Actually, we take away money. If you have money, I take away your money because I have what to sell to you.
Exactly.
Right? Now, here we are looking at because like what you've said. Me, I have grown from a humble family.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've all what I've put across.
Me too.
It's been my sacrifice and all that. You get that point. But why I think it is heresy to teach people and to teach our generation about money. It's because they may get that money when they are not prepared. Maybe for you didn't have the opportunity, and for them they get an opportunity to land into that money. And what you faced is what they are going to face.
You are very right, I agree with you. I mean, having or giving basic knowledge about money, it is very, very necessary altogether to these young men and women. But for them to understand it better,
you need to own it.
You need to have some money or some processes that generate money.
You
need to involve them in activities altogether that generate money in order for them to understand it very well. Otherwise, some of these things we learn them at school. You will not tell me you did not do cost accounting.
But on ground,
did you do anything? We did cost accounting. We know it very FIFO mechanisms. You remember those things? First in, first out.
First in, first out.
Last in, last. You remember those things very well. We did them. We did financial management. We did them as subjects. Weren't they trying to prepare for the outside environment? They were doing so. But because in reality we did not have that attack. That's why actually these institutions send these children or students for internship, so that they can have that practical feel, practical engagement.
But do you know that even
of the real life situation
at internship, some of them think that they are doing internship for purposes of passing the exam?
No, that's a very wrong mindset.
But that is what actually you try to discuss with some of them.
That's a wrong mindset.
Many of them think they are doing it because they want to pass exams.
That's a wrong
and that's why
mindset change issue.
Yeah, and that's why we are like in the past. If you look at some of us who could have learned these things in school and in different institutions, but because there is that mindset, read, pass exams. It does not come true when we come on ground.
Exactly. Because
the other way, we were only chasing to pass exams. And that is where the biggest challenge. Yeah. Now, when you said that you had an issue with the
managing money, I have to be very honest and teach the young ones. And explain to the young ones outside there, so that they do not
touched
fall
me somewhere.
Yeah, they do not fall into.
And I think the cause of that was lack of the ability to earn. Lack of ability to earn more, like get more money, because many of us, like if you don't learn how to increase your ability to earn more money, you will always think that what you have is enough.
Yeah, might be very good. I think that's also a very, very good point. I seem to have been satisfied with the set objective. You know, exactly. That's as a young man. You see, if you have been getting maybe 400,000 a month, are you getting me? And you go out there in the field, out of your own effort, out of your own wisdom and knowledge, you graduate from what you were earning as 400,000, and you make something like maybe 10 million. Isn't that madness?
It is crazy.
You do think at that level,
your brains are not at the level of managing that much money.
Exactly, at that level, at that age, you would think, because what you would relate yourself to, what you would compare yourself to, would be to what these people thought was enough and what was worth for you. Are you getting me? When you left school and you got an opportunity, you were equated to a salary of worth 200,000
Which you
or 400.
at some point you
yes,
thought that
this
was
was
also
okay.
too much.
Yeah, you thought that this was because you were earning nothing well in school. They were giving you 50,000 pocket money of 50,000 to take you through the whole term. Now here you are from there.
And every Saturdays a paycheck comes to you.
A paycheck of 400,000. You are a king, my God. Are you getting me? So you are comfortable. You have been administered to work within within that range. Are you getting me? So all you are thinking, all your objectives are concentrated to operate within that range. Now when you get an opportunity and you sell your knowledge, especially when you are selling something that is not bought, when you are selling knowledge and you make something like I've explained, of course it would be very, very difficult. It would be very difficult for a young person to really understand that until you get some challenges and of course you get some mentorship and ABC and you succeed. Such situations, it becomes, truth be told, it becomes a problem.
As we wrap up all this,
it becomes a problem. It's like now, Mr. Ignatius, I know your work, you know money, you are trying to, you have done a lot about money. It's like giving you like maybe 20 billion shillings.
You go crazy.
It would, at your level, it would disorganize you.
It definitely.
It would disorganize you. You are not prepared
for that
to accommodate 20 billion. Your capacity now, your objective might be, even you might have a 5-year strategic plan of getting 1 billion. 5 years, all the 5 years. You are thinking of getting 1 billion. Are we together? If someone gives you 20 billion right now, tell me.
That's when you think
naturally. I'm not saying we are fools or what.
No, that's when you think of getting a house in Europe.
Exactly. I try to understand me. It has not been within your context.
Yeah.
Are you together? It has not been within your circles. It has not been within your set of objectives. It has not been within your imagination. But you are there out of a blue. You get a deal. You have been struggling, selling out money, doing what? To make 1 billion within a period of 5 years. But now you get into contact with 20 billion on spot. I mean, you may even stop working if you're not careful.
and that is the truth. That is
are you getting me? You might even become very docile. You might become docile instantly and you stop doing what?
Working.
Functioning. You stop working.
You freeze.
You freeze. Say, oh my, I have got it all. Are you getting me?
Don't you think this is the cause for some musicians when they make a lot of money?
Surely.
And you find like some of them struggle financially.
It can be, yeah. It's a very big problem which most of us underestimate.
Guys, as it's coming to time, and I really enjoyed the show.
And in reality, when we come to these shows, we have not come for these talk shows to share these experiences to ourselves. We've come to share these experiences with the purpose of helping others outside there. If it was sharing for ourselves, there was no need for this kind of medium or this kind of channel. We would sit down somewhere and share experience. But we share experiences because we have a purpose. We have obligations to change mindsets outside there. So I would beg that whenever you host people, whenever you have such discussion, let us try to be as open as possible to make sure that these people understand the obstacles encountered within these journeys and how to overcome them. Because when you hide the information altogether, you are not actually helping the young man, the young woman viewing you or listening to you outside there. It's very good for us to always be as open as possible where we can to ensure that we bring them to real life situations which sometimes they go through so that they benefit from our talk shows. Otherwise, I render them irrelevant.
Yeah. Thanks, viewers, for watching Fort TV, and it has been Me, Ignatius, Tuliamureba, with Mr.
Rwakira James
Empako
Adieri
on the show, and it is the program is the Capital Tank, and I really feel you could have learned a lot out of this. And you know, like one day I was saying, is it reality or confusion?
Yeah.
Now, every Saturday, don't miss. If you enjoy this show, if you enjoy this program, keep sharing, and allow yourself to get informed, to get trained, to get taught. You know, information is the most powerful key, most powerful thing that we can all use to fight our enemies. Your enemies may not be physical, but we have different enemies. Ignatius and his team, and all the other people that really love this program. If you want to sponsor, if you want to support this program, don't shy away. We are here. You can come, partner with us, work with us. We reach out the community. And it's a Saturday. I have nothing to say. I have to say we are almost coming to an end of this show. Maybe in 2-3 words, James can try to conclude.
Yeah, I would, in a very special way, like to thank Fort TV for this kind of innovation. Because this is an innovation of younger men who are really doing a very great contribution to this region. I do not take this kind of innovation for granted. It's a very big medium for sharing out knowledge and wisdom and challenges. So thank you so much, Fort TV directors and management. Of course, also Mr. Ignatius, thank you for ensuring that you actively participate in this region, bring very different stakeholders of the region together to share their experiences, because it's very important, just like we shared in this very kind of discussion. People have knowledge and have ideas, but sometimes they sit on them. When you don't share what you can, then it ceases to be useful.
Yeah.
So I would like to thank you for your active participation. I have been watching you slowly, but seeing you move from step to step, coordinating, and you are moving to another level. You keep up with the spirit, the sky is the limit. Of course, the viewers, I know you have so many things to do outside there. By the time you pick interest to listen and view in whatever we are discussing, you are the biggest objective outside there. Because without you, all this is useless. So the biggest objective in whatever we are doing is you outside there, and we are doing it for you, so that in the future you can be entrepreneurs, you can employ our children, you can employ our grandchildren, you can change systems of this crazy world and build into a better place to be. So with those few words, I would really thank every contributor, and until next time.
Thanks, guys. It's been very good, and I really I've personally learned a lot from this discussion. Every time I meet smart people, I meet people who matter in life, I continue to learn, I continue to get educated, and that's what keeps me moving forward. Until next Saturday, bye-bye.
Bagira olufumu olw'abayisenkulu